In the peaceful town of Oakioaks, all was well until Chicken Little rang the emergency bell. This sent the citizens into a frenzy, causing chaos, car crashes, and a giant sphere of destruction. The Dalmatian fire dog, upon hearing the alarm, rushed to help the population but had no idea what was happening. He approached Chicken Little to understand the emergency. However, when Chicken Little explained that a piece of the sky fell on his head, the citizens didn't believe him. Determined to prove his truthfulness, Chicken Little went to the oak tree where the sky piece fell, but he couldn't find it. In his attempt to describe the object, a hazelnut fell on his head. Embarrassed by the confusion, Chicken Little's father, Buck Cluck, dismissed it as mere confusion caused by the hazelnut impact, discrediting his son in front of everyone. Infuriated by the chaos Chicken Little had caused, the townspeople went home frustrated, complaining to Buck Cluck. A year later, the locals decided to make a film about Chicken Little's ordeal. Instead of supporting his son, Buck Cluck advised him to stay silent in the hope that everyone would forget about him. While waiting for the school bus, Chicken Little followed his father's advice. However, things took a turn for the worse as he was trampled by other students, missing the bus. Desperate not to be late, Chicken Little chased after the bus, trying to signal the driver. Foxy Loxy, noticing him, threw a bag of hazelnuts at Chicken Little, humiliating him further. With no hope of catching the bus, Chicken Little tried running to school, but got his foot stuck in gum on the street. In his haste, he struggled to free himself, accidentally tearing his shorts. When the traffic light turned green, Chicken Little used a lollipop from his pocket to stick to a passing car's chassis, successfully hitching a ride. Unfortunately, his shorts remained stuck in the street, run over by a car, and lost. Left in his underwear, Chicken Little covered himself with his hand and hurried to school through the bushes, hoping not to be seen. Upon arrival, he grabbed a soda from a vending machine and improvised a jetpack to enter through a window. However, he landed in front of the cheerleaders. Embarrassed, Chicken Little rushed to the closets and ingeniously crafted paper shorts from his math homework. However, his attempt to hide was short-lived as the janitor knocked on the door, inadvertently trapping him inside. After an entire class period of struggling, Chicken Little finally managed to free himself. He then hurried to gym class, where his classmates were engaged in a peculiar and somewhat hazardous dodgeball game. After gym class, Chicken Little reunited with his group of friends, including Abby, Runt, and Fish Out of Water. Abby encouraged Chicken Little to open up to her father about his feelings, but before he could respond, Foxy Loxy hit her squarely in the face. This infuriated Chicken Little, and when he tried to retaliate, Foxy Loxy grabbed him by the crest and flung him into the school's security system, inadvertently triggering the fire alarm and flooding the entire school, including his paper shorts, which disintegrated. Amidst the chaos, the principal summoned Chicken Little's father to the school and voiced his complaints about Chicken Little's behavior. The boy sat outside, overhearing the conversation. Chicken Little stumbled upon a newspaper from his father's school days and learned that his dad was once the school's finest baseball player. Eager to make his father proud, Chicken Little resolved to follow in his footsteps. On the way home, Chicken Little shared his ambition to join the baseball team with his father. However, Buck Cluck, fearing his son's potential failure and ridicule, attempted to dissuade him, leaving Chicken Little deeply disheartened. After a sleepless night stargazing, the young chicken decided to defy his father's wishes and signed up for the baseball team the next morning. He embarked on rigorous training, enduring ridicule from Foxy Loxy and the coach, who refused to let him participate in any of the season's games. On the day of the momentous final match between Chicken Little's team and the neighboring town's team, most players were injured. Chicken Little was thrust into the game. When his turn to bat came, he tried to follow the coach's instructions but was too slow and missed the first pitch. When the opposing team's pitcher threw again, Chicken Little made another error. Despite the mounting pressure from the spectators, Chicken Little remained resolute, determined to make his father proud. When the Swan made his third throw, Chicken Little made another attempt to hit the ball, and this time he succeeded in making contact with it. In baseball, after hitting the ball, the batter must run counterclockwise around the 4 bases to score a point. However, Chicken Little was so clueless that he initially ran in the wrong direction. Realizing his mistake, he quickly turned around, passing second and third base while the opposing team tried to catch the ball. As he made his way to the last base, Chicken Little noticed that the opposing team had gained possession of the ball and was rushing to defend. In a desperate attempt to reach the last base, he took off his helmet and used the weight of his own head to gain more speed. This resulted in a great cloud of dust rising up. When the dust settled, the referee saw that Chicken Little had reached the base, seemingly securing the victory point. However, the referee initially ruled him out, leaving everyone disappointed. But then, the usher called a timeout and began to remove the dirt from the field, revealing that Chicken Little's foot was still touching the base. This meant that Chicken Little had indeed scored the winning point, much to everyone's joy and pride, especially his father's. At dusk, Chicken Little went to his bedroom window and gazed at the sky. He noticed a star shining brighter than all the others. Suddenly, the star started getting closer and brighter until it fell on his head, causing him to faint. When he regained consciousness, he panicked because it seemed like everything was happening all over again. His father rushed into the room upon hearing the commotion. To avoid his father's attention, Chicken Little covered the piece of the sky and pretended nothing had happened until his father left the room. As soon as his father departed, Chicken Little removed the cover and realized that the object was no longer there. Relieved, he started walking back to his bed but stumbled upon the object, which now had the same wooden texture as the floor. Trying to understand its workings, Chicken Little lifted the object and discovered several circuits and buttons on the back of the panel. Unsure of what to do with this unidentified flying object, Chicken Little decided to call his friends urgently. With everyone gathered at his house, Chicken Little showed them the piece that fell from the sky and asked for their advice. While they were contemplating a plan, Fish Out of Water accidentally pressed the button in the center of the panel, causing it to instantly glow and float. Subsequently, the fish climbed onto the panel and was lifted into the sky. However, the object suddenly snapped back into its missing part, leaving only a flare. Perplexed by the fish's disappearance, the trio of friends decided to follow the beacon as it soared toward the baseball stadium where the grand finale had taken place. Upon reaching the stadium, the flare began to spin rapidly, causing light bulbs to shatter and forming a tornado that wreaked havoc. In an unexpected twist, the light transformed into a flying saucer, landing in the center of the field. From the saucer emerged two robot aliens with octopus-like appearances. They began to walk away from the site. As the aliens moved away, Runt began to worry, thinking that the fish had become an alien guinea pig. However, at that moment, the fish reappeared on top of the ship, revealing that it was safe and sound. Despite their fear, the trio boarded the saucer to rescue their friend. While exploring the saucer, which resembled a mad scientist's lab, Chicken Little was distracted by an orange creature that mimicked him. Abby reminded them of their mission to save the fish, unaware that the little creature had started following them. The trio continued their exploration and encountered what they initially thought was a fish skeleton. To their relief, it turned out to be an X-ray, confirming that everyone was unharmed. They began searching for an exit, but halfway through, Runt discovered something shocking. A map with all the last 5 planets of the solar system crossed out in a circle around Earth. It indicated that the aliens were destroying planets orbiting the sun, and Earth was next on their list. In a state of panic, the friends rushed to exit the ship and inform the authorities. However, at that moment, the aliens returned to the ship and realized that the little alien was missing. They entered a berserker mode and began chasing the group, unaware that the creature was following them as if nothing was amiss. Upon reaching the ship's exit, Fish jumped first and Runt followed. Due to his size, Runt got stuck in the passage, while the aliens continued to pursue them. Chicken Little attempted to lock the door while Abby struggled to free Runt. Once outside, they ran through the forest, and while the octopus aliens got entangled in the trees, the friends hid in a cornfield. However, as soon as the aliens freed themselves, they resumed the chase, destroying the entire plantation in their pursuit. As a last resort, the quartet headed to the school to ring the emergency bell from the top. However, they found the doors locked. Runt tried to buy a soda to use the bottle as a jetpack, but the vending machine stubbornly refused to accept his money. In a state of complete panic, Runt lost control and forcibly obtained the soda from the machine through punches and shakes, securing the bottle for Chicken Little to use as a jetpack. Upon reaching the top of the school, Chicken Little grabbed the bell rope. However, he hesitated, haunted by memories of past ridicule. It was only when he saw his friends captured by the aliens that he mustered the courage to ring the bell. The resonating sound not only drew the attention of the people but also disrupted the aliens' circuits. As soon as the aliens realized they were exposed to the population, they hastily retreated to their ship. Fearing further accusations of dishonesty, Chicken Little ran with the entire crowd, including reporters, to the baseball field to show them the ship. However, their excitement was abruptly halted by a coin on the ground. When they finally reached the field, the flying saucer had vanished. To worsen matters, Chicken Little attempted to explain that there was an invisible spaceship in the middle of the field. He threw a rock to demonstrate, but it simply passed through the air and landed on the other side. The people, assuming this was yet another Chicken Little lie, became enraged at Buck Cluck once again. while Chicken Little and his friends tried desperately to convince them otherwise. In a last-ditch effort, Chicken Little implored his father to believe him. However, Buck Cluck turned away from his son and attempted to apologize to the rest of the population, who dispersed in great frustration. Feeling once again that his father didn't trust him, Chicken Little returned home, deeply saddened. Unbeknownst to him, the baby alien had become lost in the cornfield and couldn't return to the ship. The next morning, Buck Cluck received angry calls from the entire population, while Chicken Little remained alone outside. Eventually, his friends arrived and encouraged him to talk to his father to resolve the situation. But Chicken Little felt it was futile now and asked them to leave. Once his friends departed, Chicken Little realized that the baby alien had been left behind. He called his group back to help care for the infant. However, as they embarked on this mission, the sky began to fracture and several spaceships descended to Earth, sending the entire population into a frenzy. Seeing the ships, the little alien recognized that his parents had returned for him and sprinted toward them. Chicken Little had no choice but to follow to keep the baby safe. Midway, Chicken Little was intercepted by his father, who tried to force him into the car for safety. Recognizing that he was the only one who could save the planet, Chicken Little attempted to explain about the baby, but when he sensed his father's doubt once again, Chicken Little broke free and chased after the little alien, saving him at the last second before he was struck by a runaway truck. After saving the alien, Chicken Little found himself inside the movie theater, where his father once again located him. An argument ensued as they clashed over Buck Cluck's lack of support for his son. Upon hearing Chicken Little's heartfelt words, Buck Cluck realized his mistakes and apologized to his son, promising to be there for him from then on. With their father-son issues resolved, Chicken Little held the fuzzy baby and declared that they needed to take him to the aliens. However, just before departing, Chicken Little shared a cinematic kiss with Abby. Still without any sign of the little guy, the aliens left their ships to search for him personally. Foxy Loxy attempted to thwart their efforts by throwing a rock at them, but she was disintegrated by a laser beam right in front of her friend, who fled in fear. Not far away, Chicken Little, with the baby in his lap, initially attempted to take him to the aliens but changed his mind after witnessing the mayor of the city being disintegrated before his eyes. The aliens noticed they had the baby and began attacking, forcing father and son to hide inside a car. In an attempt to resolve the situation once and for all, Buck Cluck and Chicken Little decided to leave the car and take the most perilous route to reach the ship where the little aliens' parents were. As they ran, they were pursued by the relentless aliens, who attempted to disintegrate them. Buck Cluck managed to deflect the rays with a trash can lid, eliminating one of the aliens. However, there was little time for celebration as they were soon cornered by one of the bizarre octopus aliens and nearly disintegrated, only to be saved by Runt, Fish Out of Water, and Abby, who had commandeered a fire truck. They headed for City Hall, incapacitating any aliens they encountered along the way using the bell of the fire truck. Inside the building, the group climbed the stairs until they reached the terrace, where the main ship was located. Upon reaching the highest point of the building, father and son were hit by the ship's laser ray, which turned out to be an abduction ray rather than a disintegration beam. They found themselves in an anti-gravity room. Little Rooster and his father faced the leader of the aliens, who accused them of taking his son. Buck Cluck responded truthfully, explaining that it was actually the aliens who left the baby behind. This revelation infuriated the alien leader, and he activated the ship's numerous weapons, insisting that he would destroy them. Just as they stood on the brink of annihilation, the little alien reappeared and confirmed that he had gotten lost and left on his own accord. With everything clarified, the alien leader deactivated the weapons and placed them back on the ground. He revealed his true form, signifying his intention to make amends. To make up for the misunderstanding, the aliens set about rebuilding the entire city and returning the abducted people. Strangely, Foxy Loxy had undergone a complete personality change and become a good person. They explained that all they had wanted were the hazelnuts, a unique commodity on planet Earth. With the situation resolved, the aliens expressed their gratitude to the rooster for saving Earth. They boarded their deteriorating ship and departed for their home planet, leaving Buck Cluck pondering what would become of the movie they had been producing. A year later, the movie was finally released, but in the tradition of movies based on real events, the story had been dramatically altered. Chicken Little, portrayed as handsome and heroic, was depicted as leading an intergalactic war alongside his friends and single-handedly defeating an entire army of aliens. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more interesting movies.